Welcome, dear learners, to this module 7, a video on the topic Immersorizing Growth. So, in the earlier video, we explored how economic growth influences international trade and its associated dimensions such as production, consumption, welfare, and terms of trade. In this video, we will cover the key concepts and the necessary conditions for immersorizing growth and its implications for developing and developed nations. And by the end of this video, you will gain a deep understanding of these phenomena. So, dear learners, imagine this that you are the leader of a country and that has just experienced rapid economic growth. Factories are producing more, exports are booming, and yet, strangely, your citizens are becoming poorer. So, how is that possible? Also, have you ever wondered if economic growth can make a country poorer? Sounds paradoxical, right? So, this paradox is what we call immersorizing growth, a term coined by economist Jagdish Bhagawati. In today's session, in this video, we will explore why some countries face this paradox and what can be done to avoid it. So after going through this video, what you will learn is derive the meaning of immersorizing growth, examine the immersorizing growth in case of a developed and developing country, and you'll be able to know about the necessary conditions for immersorizing growth. So let's get started. Dear learners, imagine two neighboring countries, for example, Greenland and Plutopia. So imagine this scenario that there's a country called Greenland that produces and exports high quality coffee bean, and its demand is high and Greenland's economy is booming. And the government encourages farmers to produce even more coffee. So they expand their farms, invest in better equipments, and start exporting in larger quantities. But soon something unexpected happens because Greenland is producing so much coffee, the global supply increases, prices fall dramatically. And what just happened? Greenland fell into the trap of immersorizing growth. So the theory of, when we talk about the theory of immersorizing growth, it is equal to economic growth that worsens a country's terms of trade. That leads to decline in national welfare. So the theory of immersorizing growth actually relate to deterioration in terms of terms of trade of a country experiencing growth. So Frankie's Edgeworth was the first economist to suggest the possibility that economic growth may lead to the worsening of the terms of trade of a growing country to such a large extent that the gain in output resulting from growth may be wiped out by the adverse terms of trade. Again, Jagdish Bhagawati calls this phenomenon immersorizing growth in his word that economic expansion increases output, which, however, might lead to a sufficient deterioration in terms of trade to offset the financial effect of expansion and reduce the real income of a growing country. So, dear learners, let us discuss some key points. So, as you can see on the screen, first is the economic expansion increases production and exports. If the global supply increases too much, price drops and the country's income from exports fall. If import prices stay high, overall welfare declines. So let us understand with a real world example. For example, Brazil, a major, again, coffee producer, often faces this issue. So when Brazil has a bumper coffee crop, the global price of coffee falls. This means Brazil earns less, even though it is producing more. So when we talk about immersorizing growth in developing and developed countries, let us see the impact of immersorizing growth on developing countries. So let us start with the developing countries. So developing countries are more vulnerable to immersorizing growth because they rely heavily on a few export commodities. So imagine a developing country that specializes in exporting coffee again. So if it increases production significantly, global coffee price may drop due to oversupply, as we have already discussed. Since coffee demand is relatively inelastic, the country earns less even though it produces more. So this is a result. This results in paradox. So economic growth leads to lower national income. Again, let us understand with an example. Let's say coffee in Ethiopia. So Ethiopia is a major coffee exporter. If global coffee price drops due to oversupply, Ethiopia must sell more coffee just to maintain the same income. And this can reduce investment in education, healthcare, and infrastructure, and many more. Again, let us take an example, oil in Nigeria. So Nigeria's economy depends on oil exports. When oil prices collapse, national revenue shrinks, causing currency, depreciation, inflation, and economic instability. Now, let us discuss this with a graphical representation, which you can see on the screen. Here is a line graph showing the relationship between commodity supply and price levels, over a period of time. So here the x-axis shows the quantity of exports, for example, coffee, oil, or maybe cotton. And the y-axis shows the price per unit in the global market. So when we talk about the trend, as export quantity increases, the price per unit falls, and it demonstrates the deteriorating terms of trade. So, for example, coffee exports from a developing nation increasing while global coffee prices decline. When we talk about immersorizing growths on developed countries, so developed countries are less likely to suffer from immersorizing growth. This is because they have diverse economies. However, they can still experience negative effects in some industries. Now, let us consider a developed nation that dominates the global tech industry. So, if it expands production too aggressively, an oversupply of product like semiconductors could lead a falling price, squeezing profits, and ultimately reducing overall economic welfare. Let's take an example of Japan. So Japan's technology exports, when we talk about that, if Japan produces more semiconductors, but global prices, fall due to oversupply, it's definitely its economy could, slow down. Again, US agricultural exports, if US exports large amount of wheat, if wheat prices, drop globally, the American farmers earn less income despite producing more. So now let us discuss it with a graphical representation that you can see on the screen. So here's a bar chart, or you can say a line graph showing the effects of overproduction in the technology sector on profit margins and employment. In the x-axis, you can see time or production quantity. For example, semiconductor units produced. This is for an example. And again, in the y-axis, you can see the price per unit or profit margins. Again, the trend shows as the production increases, the price per unit falls, leading to reduced profitability and possible layoffs in the sector. For example, overproduction of semiconductors or smartphones, leading to declining revenues for manufacturers. Now, dear learners, let us move forward and let us discuss the assumptions. So, assumptions of the theory of immersorizing growth. The theory of immersorizing growth assumes that There are two countries, for example, A and B. Country A is the domestic country which experiences economic growth. Again, there are two commodities, for example, X and Y. Commodity X is an exportable and Y is an importable commodity. So there is a full employment of resources. There is mobility of resources between different countries. There is neutral technological progress. Then growth takes place in abundant factor labor. So these assumptions helps us analyze how growth can sometimes lead to unintended negative effects, particularly for developing economics. So let us discuss this with an explanation. So given with this assumption that I have already discussed and you have gone through in the previous slides, the case of immersorizing growth may be illustrated with a figure that you can see in your screen. The figure or the diagram represents the concept of immersorizing growth, which was already introduced by the economist Jagdish Bhagawati, and it refers to a situation where economic growth in a country reduces its overall welfare instead of increasing it. So let us understand the axis. The horizontal axis, that is X exportable, represents goods that a country exports. The vertical axis, that is Y axis, that is the importable commodity, represents goods that a country imports. A country produces both exportable and importable goods, but due to trade, it exchanges its exports for imports in international market. So the key curves in the diagram, as you can see, is that TT and T1, T1, which is the possible production possibility frontiers, and that is the PPFs. So these curves show the combination of exportable and importable goods that the country can produce. Here's the shift from TT to T1. In T1 indicates growth in export capacity. More of X exportable goods can be produced. Again, in CI and CI1, that is a commodity indifference curves, CICs we can say, these curves show different levels of overall welfare or satisfaction for the country, and the higher CIC means better welfare. But in this case, the CI1 is lower than CI, showing that the welfare declines. Again, how the growth can harm a country, let us discuss with. So initially, the economy is at point C, as you can see in the diagram before growth. So after growth, the economy moves to the point C1 on the new PPF, that is T1. T1, but the new indifference curve is lower, that is C1, CI1 is lower than the original, that is C1, meaning the country is worse. So this happens because overproduction of export goods reduces their world price. The country needs to export more units to get the same amount of imports, and the terms of trade decline, leading to less national income despite growth. So what we have learned and the key takeaways from this diagram is that immersorizing growth occurs when a country's economic expansion hurts its own well-being due to fall in the price of its exportable goods. This is more likely if a country is highly dependent on a single export, that is raw materials or commodities. So diversifying exports and negotiating better trade terms can help avoid this kind of traps. So producing more doesn't always mean better economic conditions. So dear learners, there are again some necessary conditions that we should always keep in mind for when we discuss for immersorizing growth. So not all countries face immersorizing growth. For this paradox to occur, certain conditions must exist. So according to Bhagawati, you can see in the screen, there are some necessary conditions for immersorizing growth to occur. Number one is the country's growth is biased in favor of its export sector. Secondly, the growing country is large in the world market so that The increase in the supply of its exportable affects the world trade. Thirdly, the foreign demand for the country's exportable is inelastic. After that, the demand for importable increases with growth. And lastly, there is a free trade in the world market without any tariffs or price distortions. So let us now discuss this condition with example, maybe with real examples in a tabular form that you can see in the screen. So first column gives us the conditions, second the explanation, and third is the example. So first, in the first column, first is the export-led growth. That explains that the country's economy depends heavily on export. For example, Brazil depends on coffee, Venezuela, oil. Second condition is large market share. The country dominates global supply. So, for example, Ghana, coca, and OPC, oil. Again, condition is inelastic demand. So, price drops don't increase demand much, like diamonds, agriculture goods, and etc. Then, rising import demands is the condition where the country imports high value goods. Many developing nations, for example, is the example of this condition. Again, uh, last condition, no trade barriers. So no tariffs or price control exist. So WTO policies promote free trade. So these are some of the conditions with explanations and examples. Then let us move forward. So we have gone through some conditions and assumptions of the theory of emergerizing growth. So the theory of emergerizing growth is applicable to those developing countries which are heavily depend on world trade, are large, and produce a large portion of world market of a primary commodity whose demand is inelastic. For example, Brazil is a case in point where a bumper coffee crop bids down the world price of coffee. So that Brazil's terms of trade worsens and the country experiences the emergerizing growth phenomenon. So the theory of emergerization growth highlights the fact that the worsening of a term of trade outweighs the gains from a large volume of production to such an extent that welfare is decreased. Johnson regards the theory of emergerizing growth as curism, because with the expansion in output and exports, the welfare of the society declines in a growing country. The remedy to this problem for developing countries is industrialization by import substitution. They should produce industrial growth with a high price and high income elasticity of demand, either for exports or the domestic market. So how to prevent emergerizing growth? So while growth is often seen as a positive force, it is important to ensure that it is sustainable and diversified. So here are some of the policy recommendations that we can recommend to avoid emergerizing growth. So first is to diversify export. So avoid over reliance on a single commodity or industry. Then invest in value additions instead of exporting raw materials. Developed industries that add value before exporting. Then manage trade policies. Implement tariffs and trade agreements that protect against the deteriorating terms of trade. Then encourage innovations. Promote research and development to ensure long-term competitiveness in global markets. So, while growth is often seen as a positive force that we have been discussing it through our video, so it is important to ensure that it is sustainable and diversified. Policies promoting industrialization, trade diversification, value addition can help prevent emergerizing growth, and we should always consider these factors, and we should always can prevent emergerizing growth if we can consider these points. So in this video we have gone through the various aspects related to emergerizing growth. We have discussed the meaning of emergerizing growth. We have examined the emergerizing growth in case of developing countries, in case of developed countries, and also we have gone through the necessary conditions, assumptions for emergerizing growth. So, dear learners, with this, we have come to the end of this video session. And thank you for joining this module. We encourage you to explore more further readings and discussions on this topic. Stay curious and keep learning. Thank you.